I think all of you in this room are engaged in this field, so somehow I feel a little inadequate trying to preach to the experts. But just want to take a couple of examples. And more than the examples, we want to look at the opportunity which is there in front of us with the Digital India, Smart Cities, and the Heritage Cities, smaller project, but that project as well. Because all the work that all of you have done for these last few decades, I personally feel that the time to use that, and someone used, I think maybe Ramanan used that comment, the time is now. I think it's very appropriate. It seems to me as though all of us have been doing a lot of things, and the time to take the big leap is now, in the context of the headroom and the space that will be created by the Digital India program at a larger level, and the smart cities at a deeper level, if I may use that term. And there's a much smaller project called Heritage Cities, which qualitatively is very important, so I want to touch on those after I've taken a couple of examples. So I think the example is about the cyclone that happened not too long back. And that was an outstanding example of how the expertise that we had gathered over a period of time came in handy. So Dr. Kiran Kumar, I guess, is here somewhere from INCOIS here. So under the leadership of that team, real-time data from INCOIS, which gave the cyclone path and the wind speed data, and NRSC, and I guess Mr. Devakar is here, so with gratitude to you and your team, providing the latest imagery. And this data was handed over to APSAC. And I think that was used at that time, all this information was used to do preventive actions, which all of us have read about and lauded, which saved human lives. And I guess this is a case which is talked of across the world, that with the right intention and the right tools and capacity and information, how human lives can be protected. Now, the important thing was not just the fact that there were different agencies which had built the capacity. I think the more important part to me was the fact that they coordinated, they organized themselves, they could transfer the information in time and use it for appropriate action. So the silos of information, the different islands of information have now reached a point where interconnecting them would give us extraordinary value. And I think these projects that we're talking about, whether it's Digital India or Smart Cities, and to a less extent Heritage Cities, would benefit from this preparation which has happened. The other example which I've always found interesting is, which has business implications, though it's for NDDB, which is a for-profit enterprise, but a social organization, as we know, on milk collection. And so in making this whole white revolution happen, the use of information, geographic information, to locate the milk collection center. And the criteria which was defined then was road connectivity, so you need to get great clarity on roads. Ability to reach from the point from where you collect milk within 4 hours, to meet the processing center within 4 hours. So it's not only distance, it is also the category of road. And to some extent, the development in that place, and therefore what kind of transportation would be available. And then, of course, that each location would need to have a capacity of, minimum capacity of 1,000 liters to be collected. So an example that when you're taking decisions which have their roots in geography, based on many parameters which then make sustainability or viability an important outcome, is another very good example which captures a lot of data of different type. May sound disparate, that what does road have to do with this, or what does the caliber of transportation or the quality of road, which would determine whether a person can reach in 4 hours or not. and then the actual amount of potential milk that can be collected, because if it's less than 1,000 liters which can be collected from the neighborhood, then it's not viable. Another example, the parallels of which would mirror in many, many operations which have to have sustainability. And again, a question of coordination between many different agencies who would provide the information, and then the decisions would be taken to locate these, which would directly impact farmers. Because the benefit to farmers in these movements have been documented, recorded, researched, and are well known. But the ability to organize things around the geographical situation of the resources, like where does the milk come from, how much quantity is possible, or the road structures, on the distances and the quality of roads. Another example. So like this, there are, I have enjoyed this as being involved with your sector, because this, as I keep saying, is the best example of informatics getting real, getting in touch with reality, getting in touch with geography. When we do sophisticated financial modeling, it's all in the abstract. But when we are counting how many buffaloes there are or cows there are and how much milk they can give and how long is the road and what's the quality of the road, this is where information and informatics is getting real. And therefore, when we talk now of smart cities, for example, it's going to be all about how people live, how they commute, how the roads are, how the electricity moves, how the waste moves, how water moves in the city, how transport moves. It's all about the real situation on the ground. And while it may appear like a new idea, I firmly believe that all the expertise that is needed to get into planning of smart cities, there is enough experience in your community, in the GIS community. But the whole idea is how to bring it together, how to tie it together, how to harmonize, how to link, how to cross-reference, how to transfer parameters from one department to the other. So to me, smart cities is much more now about coordinating and tying together the very many pockets of excellence that have been created by all of you in this room. The capacity building exists. And finally, just a point, and then as I said, I'd like to leave time for questions, is the whole idea of the heritage cities, which again you may have read about. To me, it's a fascinating thought that as we build self-confidence as a country and want to value our heritage. And I had the chance to spend a couple of days in Varanasi with the mayor. And many of you who have been to Varanasi would know this, but those who haven't can only experience it when you go there, that when we talk of an ancient city, you have to walk through the lanes to recognize the signs of an ancient city. Very rich in heritage, very rich in culture, living culture, and of course the Ganges and all the ritual that get performed on the Ganges. It is quite an unbelievably powerful emotional and cultural experience. And we have many cities like that, but unless you go there, you don't get it. You don't even know how to get there. Once you get there, you don't know what all there is to see. So how do we use our capability to harness, capture, process in real time what is happening there, what has happened in the past, and give a comprehensive experience to a citizen when they come there, to be able to express what our culture stood for, and to immerse people in the culture and give them an experience which makes them richer intellectually, spiritually, and so on and so forth. So to me, it looks like I think we have all that it takes now to convert into opportunities which Digital India is trying to capture, which essentially is about giving every citizen a much better quality of life, a much better quality of experience, an opportunity to experience things extensively.